until you meet the woman, right? Until you actually meet her, you really don't have, quote unquote, real relationship. Realistic expectations. We want to talk a little bit about that, or lack of it. Yeah. So we want to talk a little bit about that, guys, because look, this is the rest of your life. Yes, it's fun to fantasize and to picture yourself with just anybody on the website, and that's great. And maybe that can happen. But you also want to be realistic, and you want to understand what it is you really want for the rest of your life, because hopefully marriage will be for the rest of your life. And that's important. There's an old saying, be careful what you wish for. You might get it. And sometimes guys really, they just don't think it all the way through. And we try to keep you as grounded as possible. Until you meet the woman, right? Until you actually meet her, you really don't have, quote unquote, real relationship. Okay, you might have kind of a virtual relationship. You might have something like that. But are you engaged before you meet her? No, you're not. You should not really be purchasing an engagement ring and doing those kind of things until you actually meet. When guys call me up now and they say, John, I'm so happy I'm engaged. My first question to them now is, have you met her yet? Because if they tell me no.
It sounds like a logical question and you should not be asking.
You shouldn't have to ask that. And I used to not ask that until more and more guys are saying that without first meeting. And I understand, you get caught up in letters and all that, and I love you, we love each other, we love everyone. Okay, that's great. But until you really meet, you really don't know what's really going on, because you just haven't had the opportunity for all the senses to be there, right? And you just don't know what's really going on until the two of you are alone talking. And I don't care if she speaks your language or doesn't speak your language. Use Google Translate, do something. You can use an interpreter at first, but you need to be alone at some point. And you need to be able to talk and really see what's going on with that body language. And keep your wits about you, right? Do not ignore red flags. Do not make excuses for things like, she's not holding my hand.
It's just a cultural difference.
It's just a cultural thing.
Yeah,
is it a cultural thing in the Ukraine for a woman not to hold a guy's hand?
Well, look, on the first date, there could be moments when she is uncomfortable. So, on the first date, okay.
First date, okay, I'll give you that.
But if it's a second, third date, and there is no physical touch so she doesn't want to hold your hand, just like this, when you walk down the street, you probably should start being concerned a bit.
Yeah. And I know guys that will just continue to pound their head against the wall and continue to blame it on every other external factor they can think of other than the fact that she's just not that into you, okay? And sometimes it's hard to take. Sometimes you have to just move on, and it's hard because we don't want to. We want to make that work, because in our mind, we spent all this time, maybe you wrote a bunch of letters, maybe you did all this, and you built this up in your mind so much to where you want it to work. And you can try and try and try, it's just not going to happen. If you have to try that hard at a relationship, is that a good relationship? I mean, will that probably
And imagine
work?
it's all in the beginning, when everything's supposed to go nice and smooth. So what's going to happen later when they try to live together and...
Right. Of course there might be some minor ups and downs when you first meet, right? Of course there might be some misunderstandings. There might be some stuff. Okay, that's fine. But, if it's constantly, I talk about this all the time, if it's constantly you, the man, giving, and getting really nothing back from her, and you have to keep doing that just to stay afloat, like you're treading water, that's no fun. Who wants to be in a relationship like that?
Interested? Learn more at
ukrainesingles.com.